The race to build the superhuman body. What if human evolution never slowed down? What if it just moved into the lab? For millions of years, nature shaped us through trial and error, bone by bone, neuron by neuron, until we became what we are now. But somewhere along the way, the process changed hands. Today, scientists, engineers, and biohackers are rewriting the blueprint of the human body, not over centuries, but in decades. The ancient rhythm of evolution has been replaced by the hum of machines, the pulse of data, and the quiet hum of ambition echoing through sterile hallways. Because make no mistake, humanity isn't waiting for nature anymore. We're pushing forward, designing muscle fibers that don't tire, neural implants that translate thought into movement, and organs that never fail. Well, it's no longer just survival of the fittest. It's creation of the fittest. Every breakthrough comes wrapped in the same silent promise that we can build something better than nature ever could. But behind that promise sits a question too large to ignore. What happens when the blueprint of humanity becomes editable? We call it progress. We celebrate every leap forward. But deep down, something whispers. If we can engineer strength, intelligence, even emotion, where does human end and invention begin? The line blurs with every discovery, and yet we keep racing toward it, desperate to know what's on the other side. Maybe that's the real race, not between countries or corporations, but between what's natural and what's next. Somewhere, an Olympic sprinter runs inside a sealed chamber where the air is thinner than the peaks of Everest. Every breath burns. Every heartbeat sounds like thunder in their chest. But the suffering is by design, because inside that artificial altitude, the body learns to adapt faster than evolution ever intended. Muscles rebuild stronger, blood learns to carry more oxygen. Science becomes a silent coach, pushing limits once thought unreachable. And when the chamber door opens, the athlete who walks out isn't the same one who walked in. Far away, a soldier straps into an exoskeleton that multiplies his strength tenfold. The metal frame hums in rhythm with his heartbeat, blurring the line between armor and anatomy. What once required exhaustion now feels effortless. It's not fantasy anymore. It's the quiet reality of training grounds where machines are teaching humans how to transcend fatigue. Yet with every stride, a question grows louder. If technology removes the pain, does it also erase the courage that came from enduring it? And in a hospital room bathed in fluorescent light, a surgeon hovers over a patient, controlling robotic arms that move with precision no human hand could match. The margin for error shrinks to zero. The dance between flesh and circuitry feels seamless, graceful even. We look at them and marvel, not just at the skill, but at the transformation unfolding before us. The athlete, the soldier, the surgeon, each stands on the edge of human possibility. Their bodies still belong to us, but their performance no longer does. They're still human, but only just. Beneath the polished floors of corporate labs and government-funded research, there's another kind of laboratory, one lit by desk lamps, cluttered with wires, needles, and quiet defiance. These are the biohackers, the underground engineers of evolution. They don't wear white coats or wait for ethics approvals. They work in garages, bedrooms, and basements, guided by the same question that drives billion-dollar industries. What if I could become more than human? But for them, the experiment begins inside their own skin. Some embed subdermal chips in their hands to unlock doors with a wave. Others test night vision eye drops or implant magnets to feel electrical fields as if their body were a living sensor. They bleed, they fail, they reboot, and then they try again. There's no applause, no grants, no safety net. Just obsession and the belief that evolution shouldn't belong to corporations. They call themselves citizen scientists. Their critics call them reckless, but perhaps both are right. Because progress has always been born from those willing to break rules before the world understands why they mattered. And yet, there's something haunting about their courage. The sterile precision of the scientific world fades here, replaced by raw human will, messy, brilliant, and dangerous. Are these people the pioneers of our next evolutionary leap, or the cautionary tales that warn us what happens when curiosity goes too far? No one knows. But as they keep experimenting in the shadows, one thing becomes clear. The future of the human body may not come from the institutions trying to protect it, but from the rebels daring to redesign it. Behind sealed doors and retina scanners, the world's most advanced experiments are quietly rewriting what it means to be human. In one corner of the Pentagon's research arm, DARPA is developing biointerfaces, systems that let soldiers control drones or prosthetics with nothing but thought. Electrodes, once crude and external, now thread through nerves like invisible wires of intention. The result isn't science fiction anymore. It's human command turned into code. For the first time, the brain speaks fluently to machines, and the machines answer back. Across the ocean, in crisp white labs, CRISPR technology is reshaping muscle fibers themselves. Scientists can now edit genetic sequences that determine endurance, recovery, even pain tolerance. A single cut in DNA can make a cell regenerate faster or contract longer. We're not just healing the body, we're redesigning it. What once separated natural ability from limitation is becoming adjustable, programmable, and precise. The athlete of tomorrow may not train harder, they may simply be built differently. And then there are prosthetics that don't just replace what's lost, they restore feeling. Artificial limbs that let their users sense texture, warmth, even pressure. Neural lace projects like Neuralink are trying to weave human thought directly into digital systems, allowing memory, emotion, and calculation to coexist in a shared network. Each step forward brings awe and unease, because every new line of code or gene edit brings us closer to an uncomfortable truth. The boundary between biology and technology isn't fading, it's dissolving. For the first time, evolution has a project manager. Every breakthrough comes with a shadow. For every story of triumph and innovation, there's another that never makes the headlines. One of identity lost, of ambition that went too far. Soldiers once tested with cognitive-enhancing drugs spoke later of sleepless nights and fractured emotions, saying they could no longer tell where their instincts ended and the chemistry began. They were sharper, faster, more alert, and yet less themselves. In trying to engineer control, they had surrendered it. Athletes, too, have felt the pull of that edge. Some chased enhancement so far that it cost them their careers, their credibility, even their sense of self-worth. The medals that once gleamed as proof of greatness turned into reminders of how fragile integrity can be when perfection becomes a product. And that raises a question none of us can escape. If greatness can be bought, does it still mean anything? Or does it become just another feature upgrade in an endless system of comparison? Technology promises freedom. The freedom to transcend weakness, to rewrite destiny. But what happens when that freedom becomes an expectation? When being normal starts to feel obsolete? The pursuit of perfection has always carried a price, but now the currency isn't just money or time, it's identity itself. In our hunger to become more than human, we risk forgetting what it ever meant to be human in the first place. And that's the tension haunting every lab, every athlete, every dreamer who dares to reach beyond biology. Because progress doesn't always ask for permission. Sometimes, it quietly asks for your soul. No algorithm has ever known what courage feels like. No machine has ever felt the shaking hands of someone who acts anyway. Not because it's safe, but because it matters. Technology can measure heart rate, track stress, even mimic empathy through code, but it still can't understand the raw defiance that makes a human rise when logic says, stay down. That spark, that quiet rebellion against limits, is the one variable science can't quantify. We've built machines that calculate 1 billion times faster than thought, yet they've never felt instinct, the kind that makes a firefighter run into a burning building or a parent shield. A child without thinking. Instinct doesn't wait for data, it simply knows. An emotion, that fragile chaos we often try to control, remains our most powerful design. It fuels art, sacrifice, forgiveness, and faith. No neural lace or engineered synapse has ever recreated the trembling heartbeat of love or the ache of loss that shapes who we become. It's easy to believe the future belongs to precision, but history tells a different story, that the most extraordinary breakthroughs were never perfect. They were human. Maybe that's what evolution was trying to teach all along. That mystery, not mastery, is our real advantage, because the day we decode every emotion, automate every choice, and silence every flaw, we won't have built a superhuman species. We'll have built something less. 20 years from now, the mirror may not show us what we were born with, but what we've chosen to become. Bodies will be curated like art, muscles sculpted through designer genetics, organs printed to resist decay, eyes tuned to see beyond the visible spectrum. Memory itself might live on a digital cloud, shareable, transferable, eternal. The dream of immortality won't look like living forever. It'll look like never fading. But beneath that promise, an unease lingers. If everything can be upgraded, will anyone still feel complete? The future body won't just heal faster or move stronger. It will think in sync with networks, sense data before it happens, and communicate without words. A child born in that world may never understand what it meant to forget. And yet, for all its brilliance, something ancient will remain untouched. The quiet longing to feel alive in a way no algorithm can imitate. Because maybe the race to build the superhuman body was never about outrunning death. Maybe it was about confronting it and realizing that what makes life extraordinary isn't its duration, but its fragility. In the end, the pursuit of perfection doesn't erase our humanity. It defines it. The race was never about becoming gods. It was about proving we were alive.